the environment, in some cases necessitating the use of increasingly toxic herbicides that can damage agricultural areas, impair drinking water, and pose health risks to consumers and farm workers. And whereas consumers should have the choice to avoid purchasing foods that could have adverse and health and environmental effects, and whereas public confidence in organic food products may erode as organic farmers' crops are regularly threatened with accidentally contamination by contaminated seed, and neighboring lands where genetically engineered crops abound, and consumers should have the choice to avoid purchasing foods that could harm the state's organic farms and food industry. Now, therefore, be enacted by the legislature of the state of Florida. Section 500.90 Florida statute is created to read 500.90 Genetically engineered foods. Subsection 1. It used in this section the term subsection A, cultivated commercially, means grown or raised by person in course of a business or trade. Subsection B, enzyme, means a protein that catalyzes chemical reactions of other substances without itself being destroyed or altered upon completion of the reaction. Subsection C, food facility, means an operation that stores, prepares, packages, serves, vends, or otherwise provides food for human consumption at retail level, including operation where food is consumed on or off the premises, regarding of whatever there is a charge for the food. Subsection D, genetically engineered, means food that consists of, is composed of, contains, or is produced from an organism or organisms in which genetic material has been changed through the application of one in vitro nucleic acid techniques, including recombinant deoxyribonucleic acid techniques and a direct injection of nucleic acid into cells or organelles. Such techniques include but are limited to recombinant deoxyribonucleic acid or ribonalic acid techniques that use vector systems, and techniques involving the direct introduction into the organisms of hereditary material prepared outside the organism, such as microinjection, macroinjection, chemoporation, electroporation, microcampylation, and liposome fusion, or fusion of cells, including protoplast fusion or hybridization, techniques that overcome natural physiological, reproductive, or recombination barriers where the donor cells or prospolasts do not fail within the same taxonomic family in a way that does not occur by natural multiplication or natural recombination. Subsection E, ingredients, means substance that used in manufacture or contained in the final form of processed food. Subsection F, processed food, means food other than raw agricultural commodity, and includes food produced from a raw agricultural commodity that has been subject to processing such as canning, smoking, pressing, cooking, freezing, dehydration, fermentation, or milling. Subsection G, processing aid, means 1. A substance that is added to a food during the processing of the food that is removed in the same manner from the food before it is packaged in its finished form. 2. A substance that is added to a food during processing is converted into constituents normally present in the food and does not significantly increase the amount of the constituents naturally found in the food. 3. A substance that is added to a food for its technical or functional effects in the processing, but in the presence of finished good at insignificant levels, and does not have a technical or functional effect in that finished food. 2. Subsection 2A. The legislator finds that the following raw agricultural commodities are commonly cultivated commercially and genetically arranged from 1. Alfalfa, 2. Canola, 3. Corn, 4. Cotton, 5. Papaya, 6. Soy, 7. Sugar beets, 8. zucchini and yellow summer squash. Subsection B, by January 1st, 2016, and annually thereafter, the Department shall publish an updated list of all additional raw agricultural commodities that are commonly cultivated, commercially, and genetically engineered form. The list must be based on the most current available information. Subsection 3A. Beginning January 1st, 2016, a genetically engineered raw agricultural commodity that is offered for the retail sale must include a clear and conspicuous statement with the words genetically engineered in the front of the package or label of such commodity. For such commodity that is not separately packaged or labeled, a statement must appear on the label or on the retail shelf or bin where the commodity is displayed for sale. Subsection B. Beginning of January 1st, 2016, a package offered for retail sale containing processed food that is made with or derived from a genetically engineered ingredient must include a... Excuse me here, a little teleprompter style move here. Yes, I understand that, my friends. Forgive me on that. That's all good. Up here it goes. Clear and conspicuous statements on the front or back of the package with the word contains genetically engineered ingredients, followed by the name of the genetically engineered ingredient or ingredients. If an ingredient list appears on the package, the statement must appear underneath the ingredients list. For processed food containing more than one genetically engineered ingredient, the genetically engineered ingredients listed after the statement must be listed in the same order in which they appear in full ingredients list. Subsection C, in lieu of compliance with the paragraph. Subsection B, a package containing the processed food that is made with or derived from an ingredient that may be genetically engineered must include a clear and conspicuous statement on the front or back of the package with the words may contain genetically engineered ingredients, followed by the name of the genetically engineered ingredient or ingredients. If an ingredient list appears on the package, the statement must appear underneath the ingredients list. For a processed food containing more than one ingredient that may be genetically engineered, the genetically engineered ingredients listed after the statement must be listed in the same order in which they appear in the full ingredients list. Subsection D, the subsection does not apply to 1. A raw agricultural commodity that on the date it is offered for retail sale is not listed in paragraph 2A or in the most recent list published or pursuant to paragraph 2B. Process 2. A processed food does not contain an ingredient derived from a raw agricultural commodity that on the date the processed food is manufactured is listed in either paragraph 2A on a more recent list published pursuant to paragraph 2B. 3. Consists entirely of, derived, entirely formed from Yep, sorry about that. I hit that off a little bit. There you go. 3. Consisting entirely of, derived entirely from an animal that has not itself genetically engineered, regardless of whether the animal has been fed or injected with genetically food or drug that has produced through the means of genetic engineering. 4. A raw agricultural commodity or ingredient that has been grown, raised, or produced without knowing the intentional use of genetically engineered seed or food. The person is responsible for complying with this section must obtain from whatever so the commodity or ingredient to that person a sworn statement that the commodity or ingredient has not been knowingly or intentionally genetically engineered and has been segregated from, has not been knowingly or intentionally commingled with goods that may have genetically engineered at any time, and providing such a sworn statement, a person may rely on a sworn statement that his or her own supplier that contains such affirmation. 5. A processed food that would be subject to this section solely because its own one or more genetically engineered processing aids or enzymes. 6. An alcoholic beverage that is subject to regulations under chapters 561 to 568. 7. Until January 1st, 2016, the processed food that would be subject to this section solely because it includes one or more genetically engineered ingredients if A. No single genetically engineered ingredient accounts for more than 0.5% total weight of the processed food. B. The processed food does not contain more than 10 genetically engineered ingredients as determined. 8. As determined by an independent organization, a food knowingly and intentionally produced from or commingled with genetically engineered seed or genetically engineered food, if such a determination has been made pursuant to a sample and testing procedure approved for this purpose in rules adopted by the department. Such rules may not approve a sampling and testing procedure unless it is consistent with sampling and testing principles recommended by internationally recognized standards organization. 9. Food has been lawfully certified to be labeled, marketed, and offered for sale as organic pursuant to applicable federal organic food production and law regulations. 10. Food that is not packaged for retail sale and that is A. Processed food prepared and intended for immediate human consumption. B. Served, sold, or otherwise provided in a restaurant or other food facility that is primarily engaged in the sale of food prepared and intended for immediate human consumption. 4A. The department may adapt rules to administer this section. Subsection B. The department may bring an action in court of competent jurisdiction and enjoin a person violating this section. Is C. The department may assess a civil penalty against a person violating this section in an amount not to exceed $1,000 per day. Each day of a violation is considered a separate violation. D. An action to enjoin a violation of the section may be brought to court by the competent jurisdiction by a person in the public interest if the department has commenced an action against alleged violation. The action is commenced more than 60 days after the person has given notice of the alleged violation to the department and alleged violator. Section 2, this act shall take effect July 1st, 2014. Oh yeah, it's how I'm looking at this, it's very interesting because they're like it's almost the same procedure, but a little bit more amending compared to the alcoholic beverages. So it's more like the same scenario, but a few more adds to it. And I have to really respect it because the fact is this: when you have all this chemicals in these processed foods, you'd be surprised. There's some stuff they're using, like was it PGBR? I believe it is, which is like a synthetic sweetener, which they put in candies, like such as Hershey's, and actually is supposed to replace cocoa butter. Cocoa butter is supposed to be very good for the system. But now they're going to add this stuff, man-made chemicals. How is it going to really affect your body? You get hurt because a lot of these GMO foods can affect your fertility rate of not your children's or not your grandchildren. So, and how I see this is, hey, who owns your body? You. But to be a lot of these big corporate farmers, corporate agricultures, I call them. They want to punish the little man. They're harassing the Amish community on selling raw milk. Okay, and that should be our decision in good faith because it's guaranteed under the 9th Amendment of our U.S. Constitution. Okay, enumerations, natural law, and in the great state of Florida, Article 1, Section 2, basic rights, and it states that all